Partisanship, left versus right, us versus them. While we pay to keep our politicians fighting, how do we, the people, rise up and solve the great challenges of our time? We do it by embracing freedom and liberty. There may be no such thing as a free lunch, but this hour is as close as it gets. Welcome to A Free Solution.
All right, welcome to A Free Solution. I'm Kevin Wilson, your host today. Thank you so much for joining us on this wonderful, wonderful Wednesday. Of course, we took a day off on July 4th to celebrate our nation's independence from Great Britain. Hope everyone had a wonderful and safe long weekend. If you did get a long weekend, I know not everyone does, but hope you had an enjoyable day nonetheless. Got to enjoy the nice weather, maybe the fireworks. I live in the city, so I got a front row view of the fireworks as all of my neighbors were lighting them off no matter what. And of course, it was an eventful weekend from a politics side too, because right before a holiday weekend, we had a new bill come out through New York State, new proposal having to do with gun control. And so we never ended up doing a show yet, like really on like what was the New York State Pistol Association versus Bruin, like what does that mean? You know, what happened with that ruling? And just to cover that really quick, what would that big Second Amendment ruling mean? It essentially said that when New York State is issuing its concealed carry permits, right? Regardless of the pistol permit, this is a specific thing. You have to get a pistol permit, and then you have to get the extra permission to carry beyond that. The decision said, well, you can't be a may issue state anymore, right? It says that you can't have these objective criteria or like objective meetings where you can't just say, I want to be able to defend myself, therefore I should be able to have a concealed carry permit. Supreme Court said, nope, can't do that. You know, you can't, you don't have to justify your rights to the state, and New York State's arbitrary requirements for that need to go. Right. So that's all they do. Like all the progressives freaking out. Oh my goodness, everyone could get a gun no matter what. You know, in the face of all this gun violence, how can the Supreme Court rule back the right of the states to restrict this fundamental right of people? Like, no, the Supreme Court shouldn't allow this. Should allow the states to restrict rights when we want to. Right. And then again, everyone flipped on the abortion decision thing. But no, the Supreme Court just said, the way New York State does things, you can't have it be so arbitrary, and you have to have, you know, just a set of objective criteria for being able to approve or disapprove of someone getting a concealed carry permit. Again, the criteria still exists. You could go and get a pistol permit, meet all the other things, and then if you wanted to get permission to go and carry out in public, you could go do that. Now, if you went through all that process, you obtained a pistol legally and then chose to use it illegally, well, that's always something that's an individual could choose to do in defiance of the law as well. Like, that's certainly an option. That didn't stop you from breaking the law if you intended to use that pistol to hurt someone. You're already breaking one law, what's another? And so again, Supreme Court said you have to fix this. And then there's a whole bunch of other cases that the Supreme Court then came in and said, okay, here's these other decisions in lower courts that are now need to be relooked at in light of this new ruling. So you need to go look at that. So several other states, that's what happened. Now, New York State could have responded to this and said, yes, you know what? We shouldn't make this process arbitrary. We should set up a set of objective criteria, and up or down, you meet the requirements or you don't. Here's what you're able to do you have to do to be able to carry legally out in public. Okay, and that would make them a shall issue state, and that's how many states operate. If there is a permit required for being able to carry concealed in many states, a lot of states say you have to meet X, Y, and Z criteria, and then you can do it. Okay. So there's still a lot of problems with that, but that's at least objective, right? Like sort of. But that's at least like you can't discriminate based on any number of arbitrary characteristics, depending on who is the judge or the law enforcement officer you're sitting in front of, which is the big problem with this, right? Again, that there was a possibility for discrimination, both in terms of just, and it doesn't matter what that the source of that animus, the source of that discrimination was. There's a possibility that someone could deny you a permit for reasons that didn't objectively make you dangerous. And that, again, having to go and beg a government official for your right is not how rights work. I mean, they already take our right and sell it back to us through the permitting process, but that's a whole other can of worms. And folks like Brett Kavanaugh said, that's all fine. That's all constitutional. The Thomas ruling, it maybe goes a little bit farther in implying that we shouldn't have to do some of that at all. But that's just how me, not a lawyer, read that thing. Well, again, New York State has to address this now, right? We have this set of requirements that now no longer works. What did New York State decide to do? What did Kathy Hochul, Governor Hochul, decide to do? What did the state legislatures controlled by Democrats decide to do? Well, they decided to go much, much further. Instead of just violating our Second Amendment rights, they also decided to add violations of our First Amendment rights onto that as well, by creating requirements that add on a whole new host of things about where you can go, what sort of information needs to be given over to the state, and who you need to meet with too. Again, you still need to go and meet with certain officials in order to get this permit. You need to go and turn over 3 years worth of any social media accounts that you've been associated with. You need to make sure that you're not carrying in any place where it's now illegal. They added a whole host of new places where suddenly it's illegal. Added on just a boatload of requirements. And again, what's wild about this is this has nothing to do with keeping us safer. This is all about virtue signaling. And maybe after this break, maybe I'll see if I can find the clip that where Governor Hochul's talking about. This has nothing to do with the data backing up. It's all about her trying to look like she's doing something to keep us safer. And that's kind of been, I mean, that theme runs through a lot of gun control proposals, but like the New York State proposal is just some of the most egregious constitution defying nonsense that I've seen in a while. And like, it takes a lot nowadays for me to be like impressed by that. Like, wow, like that goes so far. That's so ridiculous that I'm shocked by it. I feel like I read so much news now that I don't often get shocked by these things. I'm not often saying like, wow, that goes far. More often than not, I'm going, huh, yeah, that seems pretty par for the course. All right, gear up for the next battle. What are we going to do next? That's how I end up looking at things now. It feels a bit cynical, but this one shocked me. And comment from Barbara on Facebook says it's absolutely insane, and that's responding to the title of my show, which is, again, New York State. These gun laws are way worse than I expected. Again, I think I predicted this on my Thursday show with online show with Tim. Is like, I expected there to be like, okay, a couple new restrictions on public places, sure, and then they'll make some requirements that you have to meet to be able to conceal carry, and they're going to get more strict, right? And there's probably going to be a couple that'll go a little bit too far, but mostly it's just going to be like do 1 or 2 extra things to prove to us that you're fine. But no. They went so much further than this. So they're New York State is inviting a boatload of new lawsuits to go after them, to use our money defending that, by the way, because again, how do you think the New York State does that? Of course, they're going to take money from us and use our taxes to pay for their legal teams to go and defend the right to destroy your right to protect yourself. And again, it is your right to protect yourself. And this is why, this is actually why I'm not a states' rights guy too, by the way. I don't like the states' rights argument. Like, the states get to do whatever they want. It doesn't matter what the federal government says. States' rights can be a means to an end, but the end is protecting individual liberty. And in this case, again, you have the inherent rights to self-defense and a means of self-defense. So you're able to do that with, whatever weapon is appropriate. That is a reasonable means of self-defense. That right can be taken away through due process. So if you commit a crime, and the punishment for that crime is taking away your rights to life, liberty, property, including the right to be able to purchase a firearm. Okay, cool. Again, there are ways that you can take that away. New York State isn't doing that, though. They're fundamentally taking away this right, doing so in an arbitrary manner. And yeah. All right. So give us a call if you want to participate in the show, though. I'm sure folks have feelings out there. 585-346-3000. That's 585-346-3000. We're going to be back in just a few minutes. Talk to you soon.
Your business relies on computers and technology to operate. Slow, unreliable networks and servers can cause unplanned downtime and affect your bottom line. The experts at SimpleTech Innovations are here to help. Their preventative maintenance program ensures that your computers and network are kept up to date and monitored for any issues, keeping your business running smoothly. They also help clients achieve HIPAA, PCI, and New York State cybersecurity compliance to keep your network safe and secure. Whatever your business IT needs are, SimpleTech Innovations should be your first call. They've won the Best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. Call them today for a free consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. SimpleTech Innovations.
Hey, this is Kevin Wilson, host of A Free Solution. You ever needed a tool for just one project, but didn't want to spend the cash for something you'd use just once or twice? Well, there's a new tool library in Rochester where you can borrow just the thing you need instead of buying a new one. It's called the Tool Shed from the Southeast Area Coalition, and membership starts at just $25 a year. Use it for home projects or to support your business. Learn more and become a member at seektoolshed.org. That's SEAC toolshed.org.
As a veteran of the United States military, I can finally get the opportunity to enjoy special events, things that we couldn't afford, thanks to VetTix. Every empty seat at a concert, a game, or a play is a missed opportunity to say thanks to a veteran and service member. We can give our veterans a special event where they too can create their own cherished memories. Visit vettix.org. Find out how you can make a difference in a veteran's life.
Only available in the WISL store at WISL1040.com. Official top quality tees, hoodies, and coffee mugs depicting the colorful WISL logo or the already famous Mount Worstmore line of merch depicting Mount Rushmore style are for worst presidents. Of course, you know who is front and center up on that mountain. WISL official items make perfect gifts, or they're a great way for you to make a personal statement. Locally produced and sold only in the WISL store at WISL1040.com.
A free solution on the WYSL stations.
All right. Welcome back to A Free Solution. I'm Kevin Wilson, your host today. Thanks again for joining us. Again, we're live here on WYSL until 2 p.m. Give us a call, 585-346-3000. That's 585-346-3000 if you want to weigh in on this. We're talking about the New York State gun control laws that are coming out and just how much further they went than I expected. Again, I know some folks aren't surprised. We got Taylor commenting online saying, "Is anyone surprised? Hochul's just like Cuomo, just as vindictive." Again, I was surprised. I was like, I didn't think they would this brazenly violate like a very fresh recent decision of the Supreme Court. And again, it's wild how little they care for both the law coming out of the Supreme Court, the rulings about the constitutionality of these bills, and whether or not this is actually going to do anything to help. And to that end, I'm going to play a clip from Governor Hochul talking about the data behind this too, when she was asked about whether or not whether or not there's any data on if it were people who were concealed carry permit holders committing crimes. All right, so we'll play the clip.
I don't need to have numbers. I don't have to have a data point to say that this is going to all I know is I have a responsibility to the people of this state to have sensible gun safety laws. And this one was not devised by the Hochul administration. It comes out of an administration from 1908 in our state. So this is not a new law. This is how we did things for over 100 years. So that is what the Supreme Court has attacked. Our right to be able to have gun laws, not new, but over 100 years old. And so we're going to continue making sure that we toughen those laws. And I have an obligation, regardless of a number or two. I don't need a data point to make the case that I have a responsibility to protect the people of this state.
All right. So again, that's Governor Hochul being asked, well, do you have any evidence that concealed carry permit holders are ones committed crimes? So which the crux of that question from there's a reporter out in Albany doing that, and I'll link to her tweet about that on the stream. It's, that we're making these changes. We're making it harder for average New York citizens to get a concealed carry permit. Will that actually keep us safer? Is there any data to back up the law that you're proposing? And she says, usually politicians will be able to squeeze some data out somewhere. Like you can manipulate the heck out of numbers if you want to. And usually they'll try to do something like that, right? They'll try to find some way, some number to justify some new bill or proposal, some new way of taking away our liberty. No, she doesn't even pretend to do that. She says, it's not about the numbers. I have an obligation to try to keep New York. What a crock of nonsense. Anytime a politician says that, again, they're getting more honest about this stuff, which is funny. They're like, and by more honest, I mean they are being more forward and saying, I don't actually care what the data says. What matters is looking like I'm doing something. Again, this is what I think one of the most toxic traits of politicians is. It's not actually trying to fix the problem. It's trying to virtue signal. It's trying to look like they're doing something to accomplish whatever their goal is, or to solve whatever the problem is, regardless of what hand they had in creating that problem in the first place, or whether that new proposal, no matter how onerous, no matter how restrictive, no matter how destructive it is, whether it actually solves the main problem that they intend to solve. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what is important to them. What is important to some of those politicians who start thinking this way is that, well, I have to look like I'm doing something, look like I'm taking action. The results don't matter. The data behind it doesn't matter. It's about looking like I'm doing something, because that's what in their minds brings in voters and donors. And, they might be right, because a lot of voters, there are probably a lot of folks who look at this and they say, well, at least she's doing something. Gosh, we have such a problem with guns. Like, this is going to fix that. Again, doesn't matter that the people out committing gun crimes, but this wouldn't have done anything at all to address what happened with the mass shooting in Buffalo. This wouldn't do anything to address the issue with other gun violence, the kind of day-to-day gun violence we see in places like Rochester and other cities around the state. It doesn't actually address this, because the people doing this aren't going out and going through the whole process of getting a concealed carry permit, and making it harder for those folks to do that isn't going to help us. And furthermore, too, what's wild is even the people on the left recognize, the people, not the Democrats, not the mainstream, but the people on the far left, they say, hey, actually, when you look at the data, do you know who's getting brought in for carrying illegally? Again, not committing any other crimes, just they might have a permit, and they're taking their gun out into public where they shouldn't be doing it, whatever. Again, something that isn't a crime in most states. They are the ones getting harassed by police and taken in for that stuff. Again, having not actually hurt anyone, in some cases having a legal gun just in a wrong place. The overwhelming majority of people getting harassed and taken in for that stuff are people of color. It's black and brown men. Again, not actually hurting anyone. And what can happen too is that you might have one person in a car of people, and that one person has an illegal gun, and other people in the car don't even know that, but they can still get charged for illegal gun possession out in public. And this is the type of people that hurts. Again, this is separate from folks who are going out using illegal guns to commit crimes, because that there's an actual victim. There's actually someone hurt there. I'm just talking about the people who are committing a crime in the sense that they're doing something that would be allowed in another state, to be able to have a pistol on you and go out and be in a car with someone with that. Again, someone who may not have even known this is what is happening. And Taylor says on Facebook says these laws will be about as effective as the war on drugs and the war on poverty. Yeah, no, that's what it is. Again, the war on guns it's going to be just as effective. It's going to be just as messy, and it doesn't actually keep us safe. Again, these are efforts from the government to placate that need for safety, to dig at that fear of what happens when other people are free. Don't worry, I will keep you safe. I will keep you protected. All you got to do is take away liberty from other people. Like, you don't even care about guns. We're just going to take away liberty from those other people. Those people you don't even like or respect. What do you care? What does it matter? And again, it does matter because, again, even if you are not a person who has a pistol, who is interested in that, taking away that liberty matters because the state can still go after you. You can still be subject to these laws, even if you don't think that you're breaking them. And that goes beyond the fact, again, that it is your fundamental right to self-defense and that you should be able to exercise that right to self-defense out in public. And what this does is curtail that right so much and forces you to jump through so many permissions, so many hoops to get that it's not going to be possible to do that. Again, there are several ways in which this law is meant to fail. It is meant to make it so arduous to get this process, so time consuming, that the state is not prepared to actually process the applications that are going to come in, because it already takes, in some areas, it already takes a while to go and get these permits processed for a number of reasons. Again, there's differences across regions, but it's already taking a while. And what this is going to do is, again, instead of having to do that every 5 years, it's going to drop down to every 3 years. You still got to meet with someone, still got to do the background check, and now you got to turn over your social media stuff. I've seen some stats that said, like, somewhere in like Erie County, they'd have to process something like 250 permits a day to get through all these. Does Erie County have the staff for that? Are they prepared to do that? No, probably not. And what the state is hoping is, well, it won't matter. If at the end of the day, all that means is that there's going to be fewer people who can legally carry guns, then great. But again, what that will effectively mean is you've just turned what would otherwise be law-abiding citizens into criminals. That's it. That's the only thing you've done. So that's the case with getting the permit itself. And even if you get the permit, again, has anyone committed a crime if they walk into a bar with a gun? No, they haven't. And again, if an individual restaurant wants to say, like, hey, we don't want weapons here, cool. What this does instead is it forces every business to say, if they want to allow people to carry in there, they have to put up a sign to do that. Are you kidding me? It's nonsense. Again, and that's excluding all the ones that are banned. Any place that serves alcohol, that's banned. Times Square, that's banned. Okay, sure. Stadiums, schools, daycares. Okay, all these places, they're all banned. Again, does this actually stop someone from committing like a violent crime? No. If you are intent on committing a violent crime, a prohibition on carrying a gun to a place where it's not permitted is not going to actually stop you. It's not going to matter. If it, like, do you think, like, we already have gun-free zones in schools in many places? Do you think that stops like mass killers from entering there? No, they're going to kill people. Like a law, I'm not like, oh yeah, I can't break the. I'm gonna go murder some people, but I can't break the law on carrying a gun into a school zone. Are you what are these people thinking? Again, I know what they're thinking. Again, it's about looking like you're taking action. It's not about, and again, she said the quiet part out loud in that clip I played earlier. She said the quiet part out loud that it is not about what the data says. It's not about actually keeping anyone safer. It's about looking like you're taking action to make her supporters feel good. And that's it. And that is a scary way to play with our rights. Democrats do it, Republicans do it. It is a scary way to play with our rights to just say, well, if I can get a rah-rah out of my team, then who cares if I violate the rights of the other tribe? Again, they're violating the rights of people in the Democrat tribe too. The people who are public defenders and defense attorneys realize this. Hey, you're going after folks who would otherwise support you on this stuff, but you're attacking the people of the state, often the poorest and most vulnerable. They don't care. Kathy Hochul, again, I wanted to give her the benefit. I said it again. I wanted to give her the benefit of the doubt, but my goodness, this might be just. It's not maybe not the worst thing, but Gosh, it's so terrible. All right. Again, we'd love to hear from you guys on this. Give us a call, 585-346-3000. That's 585-346-3000. We're going to be back here on A Free Solution in just a few minutes. Talk to you soon.
Celebrating 35 years.
WYSL.
AM 1040 Avon Rochester, FM 92.1 Rochester, and FM 95.5 Spencerport.
Here's the latest forecast from the News 10 NBC Weather Center for tonight. Skies will be mainly clear, comfortably cool. Will drop into the mid to upper 50s on your Thursday. Mostly sunny skies. Temperatures in the lower 80s on Friday. Sun and clouds. Temperatures near 80 right now. The weekend looks beautiful, sunny and dry and cool. Mid 70s Saturday, upper 70s on Sunday. I'm Rich Cornelia, WYSL.
Why do businesses choose to move their website from Wix and Squarespace to SimpleTech Innovations? Maybe it's their excellent customer service or attention to detail. Maybe it's their ability to give a truly customized solution. Or perhaps they just like the fact that SimpleTech is a local small business that builds great relationships with its clients. Whatever the reason may be, you can rest assured knowing that the local team at SimpleTech has your best interest in mind when building or updating your website. They're hands-on and love helping customers achieve their goals. But don't take my word for it. They've won the best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. If your website doesn't match your dreams or isn't achieving your goals, give the professionals at SimpleTech Innovations a call today for a consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. SimpleTech Innovations.
Next to life itself, time is God's greatest gift. Every minute of your child's precious school years should be spent in devotion to truth, not some agenda. An Archangel School K-12 classic Catholic-based education fosters achievement, not conformity. Affordable, safe, small class sizes, and zero time wasted on CRT or Common Core. Your family values are honored, and parental involvement is warmly welcomed. Archangel School kids learn to soar, not march. 247-1112.
Summertime, and the savings are easy when you shop Victor Chevrolet. You'll get that warm, comfortable feeling when you lease a 2022 Chevy Trailblazer LT for just $229 a month for 24 months. $36.09 cash or trade equity at closing. If you need a pickup, get the versatility of a 2022 Chevy Silverado Custom LTD Crew Cab for just $319 a month for 24 months. $45.89 cash or trade equity at closing. A 22 Chevy Equinox all-wheel drive LT, only $279 a month for 36 months. $2,500 cash or trade equity at closing. These lease deals include returning lessee rebate. All factory rebates, incentives, and discounts are applied. Security deposit is waived. 10,000 mile allowance per year, 25 cents each additional mile. Must have lease and household. Tier 1 credit approval required. Lessee responsible for repair and maintenance. Conditions apply. Get details at dealer. Victor Chevrolet has a used selection that can't be beat. Whether it's a Chevy or not, trust your vehicle to our Chevy certified service department. Come see how easy it is to do business with us. Find new roads at Victor Chevrolet, Route 96 in Victor. Visit victorchevrolet.com.
WYSL.
Hi, this is Gary Mervis. Camp Good Days is now hiring. We have a number of opportunities for you to join our family. If you are looking for a way to make a real difference, there are openings at our offices in Mendon, as well as our beautiful recreational facility on Cuca Lake. Check us out at campgooddays.org. We look forward to hearing from you. It could be life-changing.
Looking for a beautiful Brockport home that's close to everything? The Meadows Apartments in Brockport are just minutes from the Central School and SUNY Brockport campuses. Convenient to Lake Ontario, shopping, parks, and restaurants. Choose from 1, 2, and 3 bedroom apartments in our village community with many amenities. The Meadows Apartment community in Brockport features a swimming pool and convenient in-building laundry centers. Come take an apartment tour and meet our friendly and knowledgeable on-site staff on Ellis Drive in Brockport, or visit themeadowsny.com to learn more.
Western New York Sealing and Paving, installing new driveways and parking lots. Seal coating too. Want a fresh new driveway or parking lot installed? Call 247-8466. For a limited time, get 0% financing for 18 months for qualified buyers. Serving Monroe, Livingston, and Ontario counties. WNYPave.com. Seal coating, paving, plus concrete sidewalks and patios. Call 247-8466 or visit WNYPave.com. Western New York Sealing and Paving. Make your asphalt great again.
The first ever countywide mural festival in New York State is in Livingston County this July. The Live Coal Walls Festival features 9 artists painting world-class murals. Celebrate the completed murals the next 3 Saturdays. This Saturday, visit Lima noon to 4, Caledonia and Avon 2 to 9 p.m. for music, food, fun, and art activities for all. More at livecoalwalls.com.
A free solution on the WYSL stations.
Welcome back to A Free Solution. I'm Kevin Wilson, your host for today. Thank you so much for joining us on this wonderful Wednesday. We're live here on WYSL until 2 p.m. Give us a call if you want to participate in the show. Weigh in on the new gun control law in New York. 585-346-3000. That's 585-346-3000. Of course, we're live online too on the Free Solution Facebook page, Free Solution YouTube channel, Free Solution group, or the Kevin Wilson pages. Wherever you're listening today, I appreciate you guys. And then we got comments and stuff online too. Dr. Stephen Becker promoting Larry Sharp on Facebook. Of course, our Tuesday host here on A Free Solution. I am excited to vote for that guy. Excited to see, what else his campaign is going to do between now and November. Don't believe the fake news. They can only vote for 2 candidates this November. There are other options out there. And all right, so again, we're talking about that New York State gun control bill, and a couple other points I really want to drill down on. Right, so one is the social media thing. I talked about this when the most recent round of gun control bills came through, when they had enhanced checks for people under 21, and I was curious if that was going to lead to a social media thing. The social media accounts thing, I don't know. I feel like that is going to lead to a very quick First Amendment violation. It sounds like we have a caller on the line though. Dave from Brockport. Dave, welcome to a Free Solution.
Hey. Yeah. I'm kind of taken back here. I'm playing my lips, after Governor Holcomb did what she did. I just don't picture, a couple fellas maybe sitting around on a Friday night going, hey, let's go hold up this liquor store with this illegal gun. Oh, no, we can't do that because it's against the law. I'm beside myself.
You don't think they're getting a permit? They're not allowed to concealed carry out of the house. Aren't they going to go and get permission from the state to do that?
Yeah, and the worst part is it's a beautiful boating season, and I know so many people who have tragically lost all their firearms this year in a terrible boating accident.
I'm sure that happens too. But I mean that's a great point though, Dave, about again, what are criminals going to be obeying laws? No, of course they're not going to. Again, all this does is turn otherwise law-abiding people into criminals, and that's all it does. It's not actually keeping us safer, not actually preventing guns from getting into the hands of people who will do harm with them.
Right. It's just absolutely asinine, for lack of a better term. But keep up the good show and enjoy this holiday week.
Yeah, you as well. Thanks for calling, Dave. And again, folks, if you want to call in too, give us a call, 585-346-3000. That's 585-346-3000 if you want to call in like Dave did. Again, we're talking about that gun control bill gun control law now in New York State that just went through. And again, I was saying about the social media account thing. Again, what I think this is going to lead to a quick, very, very quick First Amendment case. Again, what exactly are they looking for on this? If they don't define that specifically, again, if someone's making threats, is it that they are a gun enthusiast and that worries whoever is reviewing the accounts? Is that making political views that they don't find acceptable? What possible use could they have for turning over social media accounts? I will say this, and I say this every time, anytime the government starts looking at social media accounts, something to keep in mind is that is public information. Even without you having to turn over that information, the government can find that anyway. If you're posting any stuff on there that's illegal or violent or whatever, the state can find that. Just know that's public. Even if you're like, oh, I'm only sharing this with friends, I have it on friends only setting, not public. Nope, nonsense. People can screenshot it, it's in a private group, it won't get out. Yes, it can. Just know anything you post on social media could be made public, so act accordingly. But again, what's going to be wild about this too is if I were to apply for this now, I I manage social media accounts for for a living. I've done that before, so I have access to all these. Like, do I need to turn over all those? Like, what? Like, it's dozens of pages. I managed so many of them. I don't know what that is going to look like and why they would possibly need any of that information. It's just because presumably, if I were gonna post wild stuff, I could post it as a page instead of just as myself. You don't know what are going to be the rules of this again, and how can they justify having to look through all of this information? Again, that they don't feel like they actually need to justify it. That was made clear by Governor Hochul. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter that what data is out there. Doesn't matter what data says. This is about making my supporters feel safe. That's all it is. But and the other thing too, like I kind of listed off like a handful of places where it's not going to where you're not going to be able to carry. Even if you get permission, it's still banned for you to carry your weapon to a whole bunch of new places. So not on government property, not on healthcare facilities, not on houses of worship. So you can't go to any church while you're carrying libraries, playgrounds, parks, zoos, museums, childcare facilities, schools, college campuses, public transportation vehicles are stationed. This one bothers me too, right? Because again, if you are trying to respect the right to bear arms, the right to self-defense for all people, does that include people who can't afford cars too? Again, maybe you want to be able to carry on a bus because like that is your means of transportation and you don't feel safe when you're going from home to work. And that is your means of feeling of being able to defend yourself if you get into a situation where that sort of force is justified. All this does is discriminate against the poor and disproportionately against people of color. The Democrats they're just so wildly fake in pretending to like actually care about minorities in this country. Like it is wild how much their laws, their rules end up hurting the very people they pretend to protect. It disgusts me. It makes me mad. But going on, again, public transportation vehicle stations, you can't do that if you're taking a bus or train to work or school, whatever, it doesn't matter. Bars and restaurants licensed to serve alcohol. Again, I guess a diner that doesn't serve alcohol, you could have it there, but that not many other restaurants, sports or entertainment venues, amusement parks, casinos, racetracks, conference centers, banquet halls, protest locations. And here's the other one, the protest locations. And again, I get like there could be what if I'm trying to be generous about it, and I'm not particularly generous about it, they could say, okay, we don't want someone open carrying in a way that is meant to intimidate folks again. But this is about concealed carry, so it doesn't matter. Again, this is what they were probably thinking of when they did that, but why? What does it matter? Again, and if you're going there with the intent to hurt someone, this law is not going to prevent that. It doesn't actually change that. But you're not allowed to carry it, at a protest location, even if it's about protecting your right to bear arms. Like you can't. What? So if you're going and having a pro Second Amendment protest, and suddenly you're carrying in a protest zone and you get arrested for that, again, what actual crime have you committed other than the crime that the government has just made up? Again, this is just turning law-abiding, otherwise peaceful people into criminals. That's all it does, is it punishes people for doing something that is their right. This is different from folks who are hurting others, right? Again, if you're hurting others, that's different. It's a different case. This is just people who are in another state would not be breaking the law at all. There's some states out there where you can actually go out and just be able to purchase a firearm and go about your life as long as you're not hurting people or taking their stuff. That's an option. That's something we could do. The Hochul's appeal to tradition. We've been doing this for 100 years. Therefore, again, it hasn't always looked like this, but that appeal to tradition, we've been violating people's Second Amendment rights for a century now. And therefore we have a right to continue doing that, to make it worse. Nonsense. No, just because you've been doing something 100 years does not mean you ought to keep doing that. It's just an injustice that has taken place over a very long period of time. It's time to end it. And again, this is going to end up going through the Supreme Court again. We're going to see pretty quickly, I hope, some relief for this, but I don't know. Again, folks are already prepping to get involved in lawsuits. Would love to hear from you. Again, 585-346-3000. That's 585-346-3000. Would love to hear from folks and what they're thinking about this, whether or not any of this is going to stand up to the law of the land, the Constitution, particularly in the framework that was handed down in the Bruen case. I don't know. I don't think it goes anywhere. And we might actually see, although it's going to probably take perhaps years to get here, we may see like a further clarification of the restrictions on both the federal governments and the state governments on their right to their powers to infringe on our rights. Again, Second Amendment does not give us the right to bear arms, does not give us the right to self-defense. It restricts the government from doing so. And that's what this ruling talks about. And that's what we might see more of. Again, if you functionally take away that right, which I think that was it might have been the McDonald or the Heller decision too, that talked about that too, where a city had made it so that you could only carry inside your home and nowhere else, or you could only have a pistol inside your home, but nowhere else. I think that was the Heller decision. You effectively don't have that right. So based on that other case, New York State is likely going to get slapped down for this, plus the social media stuff, plus the not being able to carry at a protest stuff, plus they're deliberately setting up the bureaucratic system to be under-resourced and to fail and to not let people get that, plus the continued arbitrary nature of having to do like the in-person interviews after meeting all of the other criteria, all of the checkbox criteria, all of that. There's so much in this. I even get to all, there's also the extra classes and a whole bunch of other stuff that's going to continue to provide a further burden on people trying to exercise something that is your right. They're just creating more barriers, more expense, more cost to doing that. All right, thanks again for joining us here on A Free Solution. Got one more segment left, but give us a call, 585-346-3000. That's 585-346-3000 if you want to weigh in on this. Talk to you soon.
The WYSL store is now open. With nicer weather, your car needs an official Voice of Liberty bumper sticker. There's a great selection to help you show your love of God, the Constitution, and free and safe schools. Here are just a few available. Shut Up, Fauci, Kathy Hochul, Save America, Support the Second Amendment, Scam Alert, January 6th, God, Please Help Us, Close the Mexican Border, Save America, Stop Voting for Democrats. And there are gas pump stickers reading, Democrats did this. These are standard weather-resistant bumper stickers guaranteed to get you horn honks and thumbs up in traffic. Choose from other locally made WYSL Voice of Liberty merch too, like tees, hoodies, drinkware, and more. Perfect gifts for any Liberty lover. Check out the exclusive WYSL Mount Worstmore shirts, hoodies, and coffee mugs depicting our 4 worst presidents. Guess who's front and center? Shop at WYSL store at WYSL1040.com.
Why do businesses choose to move their website from Wix and Squarespace to SimpleTech Innovations? Maybe it's their excellent customer service or attention to detail. Maybe it's their ability to give a truly customized solution. Or perhaps they just like the fact that SimpleTech is a local small business that builds great relationships with its clients. Whatever the reason may be, you can rest assured knowing that the local team at SimpleTech has your best interest in mind when building or updating your website. They're hands-on and love helping customers achieve their goals. But don't take my word for it. They've won the best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. If your website doesn't match your dreams or isn't achieving your goals, give the professionals at SimpleTech Innovations a call today for a consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. SimpleTech Innovations.
Hey, this is Kevin Wilson, host of A Free Solution. You ever need a tool for just one project, but didn't want to spend the cash for something you'd use just once or twice? Well, there's a new tool library in Rochester where you can borrow just the thing you need instead of buying a new one. It's called the Tool Shed from the Southeast Area Coalition, and membership starts at just $25 a year. Use it for home projects or to support your business. Learn more and become a member at seektoolshed.org. That's SEAC toolshed.org.
A free solution on the WYSL stations.
Welcome back to A Free Solution. I'm Kevin Wilson, your today. And then we're live here until 2 p.m. on WYSL. Give us a call, 585-346-3000. That's 585-346-3000. Appreciate y'all listening today. Appreciate everyone listening online to the Free Solution Facebook page, Free Solution YouTube channel, the Kevin Wilson pages, wherever you're listening today. Thank you for being here. And got a comment from Patricia on YouTube who says, I will fight for your right to protect me and yourself with a gun, but if you are smart, you'll not give me one. I'm accident prone. I know my limits. The only way we got our freedom was with guns. And Patricia, what's important to me too is like that is your decision. Right, like that you are, if presuming, I don't know you that really, so presuming that there are no other crimes you have committed that would preclude you from owning a gun. And again, I mean, legitimate crimes, I think there's a good reason if someone has committed a murder in the past to say, okay, you can't get a gun anymore. Yeah, I think that's fair. You can't legally purchase one any further, but there's some folks who are going to decide, no, that's not for me, that I don't want to carry every day. Again, I don't do that. I don't have a carry permit. I don't know that I even want one, because to do so responsibly does require a level of training and know-how that I might not be comfortable with. And again, if you're going to do that, that is a responsibility. It's not merely a right. It is also a responsibility to do so. And you should take that seriously. And it's not for everyone, and that's fine. But if you do want to do that, you have the right to do that. Sounds like we have a caller in line, though. Claire. Hi, Claire. Welcome to the show. Hi. What's on your mind?
I'm also a pistol holder. Not holding it right now, but I am going to go by my Second Amendment rights. I think Kathy Hochul had no right in doing what she did, and she needs to actually wake up and maybe even go to a gun course herself and see what is done and what is actually, how people are that respect their weapons that they have and why they would use them. And I've talked to a few retired police officers and state troopers. And when you have an emergency situation, you want somebody out there with a good gun that nobody knows about. That helps the situation a lot. You ask any police. I mean, she needs to look at the information and not just go and say, you can't do this.
No, 100%. And it can't help in those situations. But, I'll push back a little bit just to say that I don't think Kathy Hochul is ignorant here. Like, I think she understands this. She understands, like, enough about guns that she got an NRA endorsement back when she was running for Congress, I think it was, which, I don't know, maybe that says something about the NRA, but I think she understands it. She just chooses to talk about guns in a way that pleases her supporters and donors and does not care. Again, usually I don't attribute like bad motivations to this, but I don't think she is ignorant in this case. I think in this case, she knows enough about this and doesn't care about the data. And again, that's what's so like shocking to me, is that a politician would just say, the data doesn't matter. We're just going to do what feels right. Wild. Anything to add to that, Claire? I don't know if you're still on.
Hopefully this is not done and over with, and will be overturned when she is voted out of office.
Yeah. 100%. That's what we got to do. Again, there's a couple routes that we can pursue. Thank you so much for calling, Claire. Appreciate it. And there's a couple routes we can pursue on this, right? There's the court route that's probably going to take a while. The New York courts might, say that this is all perfectly hunky-dory, and then it may have to wait to get up to the Supreme Court. I don't know. I don't know what will happen with that. we will see. But of course, the other route is to start winning elections and change the law that way. It's going to be tough. Again, we already saw, like, the Democrats tried the gerrymandered districts. We got, new districts coming out, but even in perfectly fair, reasonable, like, district drawings, there is a pretty significant enrollment advantage on Democrats. And a lot of Democrats, again, like, they're not looking at the details of this, right? Like, most folks, unfortunately, aren't thinking about, like, well, how does this rule impact me? I'm not a gun owner. How does it impact my neighbors? How does it impact my other rights and in other ways of interacting with law enforcement? They're not thinking about that stuff, and they're not thinking about whether or not it matters that the state is being allowed to further tread on the rights of otherwise law-abiding citizens. And unfortunately, that's something that's all too common in politics. Again, this isn't a Democrat-specific thing. It's just that people don't care. They say, well, I'm concerned about gun violence. Governor Hochul and the Democrats in the legislature are doing something about gun violence, and the details are fuzzy. They don't matter that much to folks. And that's a sad thing. It's just, and I'm not. I wish it were better than that. Again, and that's why I get a little bit funny. I know some folks are like, well, why is the Supreme Court deciding, in overturning state laws about these other things, right? But when our court system acts in a way that says, no, you have these fundamental rights, the state and the federal governments are restricted from violating these fundamental rights because the Constitution says that the powers of these governments are limited. Therefore, no matter what the Democratic and that small d Democratic majority of your local, state, or federal governments want to do, you have certain rights that are protected and enumerated in the Constitution, and they cannot create laws to infringe on those rights. And I understand why some folks are like, well, it's weird that so much of our law and so much of our law is shaped by the Supreme Court. Again, we're seeing it this year with criminal justice reform, with Second Amendment gun rights issues. We're seeing it with abortion. We're seeing it with the EPA case, which I didn't even end up talking about. I was hoping to talk about that today, but I just kind of rambled on about the gun control stuff. But part of me thinks, like, it's a good thing that there is a system to say, no, the actual law of the land, the law that matters, the law that supersedes everything else, is what is in the Constitution. And if we want to change the Constitution, it is a difficult process to do that with good reason. Again, if the progressives really want to repeal the Second Amendment and remove those barriers to the federal, state, and local governments being able to infringe on your right to self-defense, well, we can do that. You'd still have that right. This would just remove the barrier to governments restricting that right. They could do that, but it's a difficult process with good reason. Again, you could do that with go through any of the rights outlined in the Constitution. You could do that with First Amendment, Second Amendment, Third Amendment, quartering, whatever it is, right? Like that, but that process, the Constitution is difficult to change because protecting those rights is incredibly important, and it needs to take a pretty significant consensus across the entire country to remove restrictions on government powers or to add new government powers, which sometimes happens in the Constitution. We think of that like the income tax or whatever. But again, hope you enjoyed this. Hope this was informative for you folks. Again, I'm going to be back on Monday here on the radio. But of course, if you listen on Thursday nights, follow our Facebook page at a Free Solution or YouTube channel. Me and Tim O'Connor always go live on Thursday evenings. We'll probably talk a little bit more about this and a few other things too. But appreciate y'all joining us. Appreciate y'all being here on A Free Solution. And again, we're going to keep fighting for your rights. This isn't over. We're still going to continue fighting for us. I haven't given up yet. Thanks again for joining me on today's show. Have a wonderful week, folks.